Twin Saga kinda sorta but not really shows off its combat system. Master x Master prepares for yet another alpha playtest. Both Paragon and Smite introduced Earth-themed heroes, and all of a sudden, I'm no longer at MMO Huts. What's up guys, James Blonde here with your weekly recap of gaming news and announcements of the week ending August 1st, 2016, and welcome to episode 1 of the Gaming Recap. First order of the news is that I am no longer at MMOHuts.com, so thanks for finding this video in the first place. To give you guys a little bit of a rundown of what happened, as you may or may not know, I didn't own MMO Huts. Several companies actually owned it, and unfortunately, one of the primary companies decided to do some restructuring for their financial needs, and as a result of that was a fairly decent-sized layoff, which included myself. So it was kind of one of those situations where people high up on the corporate ladder decided to downsize and to do so without actually realizing exactly what they were getting rid of. So I was pretty much cut off and didn't even know it from a high-end corporate standpoint. So I'm not mad at MMO Huts or any of the people that are still left over, which really isn't much. These things just sort of happen sometimes, and you've got to make the best of it. Of course, I've still got the Twitch channel, twitch.tv/JamesBlonde, and now this new channel where I'll try my best to make new and awesome content, basically picking up where I left off, but in a new direction. I'll try my best to answer any questions that you have in the comments below, but I have a feeling I know one of them, which is what is going to happen to MMO Huts now? Well, the best answer I have for that is I don't know exactly. They didn't exactly let me go in order to replace me. That's one thing I do know, so I suppose the channel will lie dormant for a little while, and at some point, once the mother company has reestablished itself financially in a way that they can bring back new people or something like that, it can start back up one way or the other. So do me a favor guys, don't think ill of MMO Huts, nobody is the bad guy here, and with all the people that I know that are still there, you can definitely expect to see some great news and written reviews. But anyway, moving on, starting out the gaming news from this past week, Path of Exile just released some really impressive performance improvements over their most recent patch. Their new video you see here has Jonathan Rogers, the technical director on Path of Exile, talking about a new command line option introduced in patch 2.3.3 that'll let you turn on frame multithreading, allowing the game to use more of your CPU cores for regular gameplay. If you check out the video, you can see him toggle the feature on and off, and while standing in a non-active area, you don't see a whole lot of improvement on the frame rate based on the way he explains it. See, the red bar that you see there is the FPS limiter. If you're under the first line, you're getting the 60 FPS that you're wanting, and as the red bar moves towards the right, you get 30 FPS and lower as the graphics demand of the game increases. So here, once he turns on the multithreading, you see about a 10% increase in performance, but once he gets out into some serious action, that's when we see a drastic performance increase using the multithreading, as you can clearly see. Be sure to check out the video to get a better explanation of what you see going on here, but with this implemented, you'll not only be able to play Path of Exile on lower-end PCs, but also enjoy it at higher settings as well. I guess we'll see how that goes. On a similar note, Perfect World Entertainment announced some lame information about its new buy-to-play action RPG Livelock this past week. The news is the game was supposed to launch tomorrow, August 2nd, on all platforms, so PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC, even though there was a slight holdup with the PS4 version of the game for some reason. But the team decided that they would much rather have everyone be able to play Livelock on the platform of choice on the same release day. That was their original intention from the start, and they wanted to stick with that. So they're actually pushing back the release date for Livelock on all of the platforms, and as of now, there isn't a confirmed release date. Gee, thanks PlayStation 4, why you gotta ruin it for everybody else? The game is badass though, so in my opinion, it's still worth the wait. Now something you might not want to wait on is the current Humble Bundle sale for 2K games. Lots of cool stuff this week, including BattleBorn, with 250 platinum currency, a starter skin pack, and Borderlands a pre-sequel if you're wanting to pay $15. That's pretty good. BattleBorn itself is regularly a $60 game. Well, that is until they probably end up going to make it free to play anyway, but you get this plus a lot of other cool stuff like I mentioned. You've only got about a day left, so if you're seeing this quick enough, get on it. Link in the description below. Next up, Master x Master put out some more Master Spotlights this past week, one for Chromeid and the other for Poe-Haran, as you know from Blade and Soul. Chromeid is from Aeon. Poe is an excellent marksman with her Rattlecaster chain gun and love for chaos. Now the interesting part here is that she's literally better off at a distance, as in enemies take significantly less damage at close range opposed to long range. making that a little bit more interesting with her Gatling jump ability that has her leaping over enemies, spraying them with bullets in the process. Chromite, on the other hand, is also ranged and also has the same range damage increase Poe has, so don't get all up close and personal when you're shooting enemies in the face. It's kind of bad for your damage output. Chromite also has a shield that will mitigate 100% of the damage from a single shot and boost her movement speed when it's broken. She also has a nice pushback with her Gale Force arrow ability, and ranking that skill up will increase its power and speed of the arrow. Besides the new Master Spotlights, Master X Master is hosting a stability test today and tomorrow only in order to prep the servers before next week's Alpha 2 playtest. Not exactly sure if that's open to all, but if you got into the first test, then you should be able to get into this next one. Also last week, besides Dungeon Fighter Online making its way over to Steam finally, Neopo has also introduced the Dark Elf Ruins in Act 5 Part 3. Dark Elf Ruins is, of course, a new area and dungeon. Now, the dungeon requires you to be at least level 40 and have black cube fragments to enter. More for higher difficulties, of course. From the new video, I mean, it looks pretty intense, especially the boss fight. Now, that is genuinely scary as hell. Looks like new players coming into Steam are going to have some really cool stuff ahead of them. And on a similar note, Elsword releases Rose's 4th class path last week. This time it's Metal Heart and Optimus. Taking tech to the nth degree, Rose unleashes a battalion of bots, summons, and ultimately a full-blown attack mech onto the field of battle. As Metal Heart, Rose doesn't only wield heavy robotic support, she also specializes in the use of rapid-fire, close-quarter auto guns while closing the distance with some seriously brutal kicks. Now, for old-school sci-fi and anime fans, at level 35, Rose can advance from the Metal Heart job into Elsword's ultimate bastion of all things sci-fi, the Optimus. No, not that Optimus. This one. From glowing discs of death, destroyed mechas, and lock-on laser fire, Optimus pretty much crushes everything in her path. And when all else fails, she can also summon down a salvo of lasers, missiles, and brass, making sure nothing survives. Pretty cool classes if you ask me. And of course, we always have the awesome video. Meanwhile in Terra, what the hell? Flying llamas, really? Are you kidding me? This has to be April Fools in August. August Fools. No, that llama just blew up. Well, that's MMO news for you. Flying llama dies in fireball explosion in Terra. Get yours today. As a quick reminder, the Riders of Icarus Blight of Frostkeep update is now live, bringing with it a level cap increase, new region, and more. The new level cap of 35 players can work their way through the new snow-covered area known as Parnas Coast, and here you'll find new dangers and mounts, with powerful monsters and a misty frost that permeates the area that can affect players' mobility if unprepared. While you're there, you can team up with other riders to take on the new field raid if you feel challenged enough. If that's not enough, the Frostkeep should keep you busy and challenged. This dungeon is the stronghold of the Frost Guard, and their leader. Taking them on will give you a chance at collecting some really cool new ghost mounts. The new trailer here previews a little bit of what to expect, otherwise you can try it out yourself now that it's live. Next up, Area Games gives us a new video revealing Twin Saga's combat system. Well, that's what they're calling it at least. It's more of a showcase of the ultimate moves, as they're calling them in the game, which are kind of like fatalities. This video doesn't really explain the type of combat that we can expect to see in Twin Saga, so it's basically like seeing fatality videos in Mortal Kombat without actually seeing any of the fighting. Good job, guys. You had one job. Now show us the real combat. It also shows us another mechanic that lets you summon a warrior companion known as a Senshi to fight by your side, or fight for you, I guess. They use their own abilities and ultimate moves, and can be swapped out in battle according to the situation. I guess if it gets too hard, you can call them out and they'll fight and kill everything for you. Not really sure. Still doesn't really shine any light on the combat system. More or less just its features. Again, Founders Beta is starting on August 9th. I suspect Open Beta to follow the week after. And then I guess we'll see for ourselves. The week before last, My.com released the class trailer for Revelation Online, and this past week we start to see the individual breakdowns, starting with the Blademaster. Now, the Blademaster, as you can probably guess, specializes in melee damage and moderate defense, but unfortunately, just like the Twin Saga video you just saw, this is a cinematic trailer, albeit a cool one. It doesn't really give us much of an idea of how the class actually plays or the combat style itself. It's almost like MMOs nowadays just want to hide that stuff from you, and then get you to play it first, so that way you'll be like, well, the combat isn't all that great, but everything else is cool. Either way, it's a cool trailer, and I'm still looking forward to this game when it comes around. It's worth checking out. One of my current favorite games, Ark Survival Evolved, just had a free weekend this past weekend, just before releasing a pretty hefty new update, which released the Primitive Plus mod program as a free and official DLC for Ark. Primitive Plus is a functionality mod on the official Ark maps that challenges players by altering the available tools, weapons, and structures in the game to reflect what humans could realistically create using primitive technology and resources. It's just another cool way to have fun with the game. With that, there's a new update to the center map, so it's been expanded to include new biomes, islands, cave, and a completely new boss arena to explore, not to mention a wide variety of creatures to tame and be hunted. Speaking of, 2 new creatures come with this update as well. Pelagornis, which has just become one of the island's most versatile mounts because of its ability to fly, walk, and land on water, and surface swim, which is really cool. The other is the famous Allosaurus, the smaller but faster version of the T-Rex, and these guys like to hunt in packs of 3, making them that much more dangerous. Now the cool part is that they have the perfect teeth to leave their prey bleeding and maimed, making it really difficult to escape, and of course it tends to slow them down a great deal. There's plenty more to this update, so check out the patch notes on the Steam page. Oh, and the game is currently 50% off on Steam, making it $14.99 until August 3rd. Next up, Paragon gets a new support hero this week, tomorrow in fact. This time it's the tiny but mighty fairy fighter, the Fae, a support character who harnesses the power of nature to do more than just distract the enemies. One of her abilities, Untamed Growth, tosses an explosive plant at her enemies that does damage within an AoE over time. She has command of the Bramble Patch that causes a thorny line of sharp brambles to slow down opponents. She also has a mana restore ability very similar to Grimex that activates if the hit is successful. Her ultimate is definitely appropriate for her theme. It's called Flytrap, and you guessed it, it summons a massive plant that drags in baddies and basically eats them. Feed me, Seymour! Feed me! Likewise, Smite introduced a new goddess last week who is pretty beast. Finally, we have another melee guardian. This time it's Tera, the Earth Mother. She's from the Roman pantheon, and she's all about high area damage with some healing potential. Her passive creates standing stones, and as long as any standing stones are on the battleground, Tera becomes knock-up immune, and her basic attack will slow enemies. She's also able to shatter these standing stones, and in doing so, in terms of her first ability anyway, she gains momentum, causing her to dash forward and deal damage. If she shatters a standing stone in the process, she may dash another time within a 3-second window. Her second ability is really cool as well. She raises up 2 standing stone walls on either side of a target location, slowing enemies in between by 20%, and as long as both stones stand, Tera may activate this ability again to slam the stones together, damaging and stunning enemies in between. Her third ability allows her to heal nearby enemies with a pillar, which can definitely come in handy, especially since this too is a standing stone. Her ultimate, on the other hand, is designed to buff her allies for 10 seconds, giving them movement speed, reduction of mana cost for abilities, and increased cooldown reduction. It also summons 4 stones around her teammates, and if any one of them takes damage 4 times, the stones will activate and heal that god. That's pretty legit. So it's not really all that flashy, but it's still really cool. I've got to say, Tera looks like a total badass, though. They did a nice job with their kit. And for our last bit of news, a quick update for Paladins. The closed beta 30 update was supposed to launch this past week, but the developers decided to work on it a little bit longer, a week longer anyway. CBT 30 will introduce 2 newly designed maps that will change up the overall style of the gameplay, giving the game more verticality, some tighter corners, maybe some other elements you're going to have to watch out for. Along with this, they're also planning to add in about 40 new cards or so, giving players more customization options for about 8 or 9 of the champions. So half the champions will be getting new cards, half the champions are going to have to wait till the later patch. They're also working on a Refer the Friends system, and just like Smite, it's a promotion. Participants will be rewarded with a really cool new skin. Anyway, guys, once again, thanks for watching, liking, and subscribing, and just plain finding the new recap. I've got links in the description below for more information about the topics mentioned in the recap. Hopefully, as we go along here, I'll put up more content, new exciting stuff. Feel free to follow me on Facebook and Twitter as well for updated info, but until next time, guys, that's going to be it for me. I'm James Blonde. See you out there, gamers.